Today's video will be the first in a series of videos that feature horror stories and ghost stories throughout the US. The first episode will focus on my home state, Virginia. The Witch of Pungo. The words witch trial wouldn't normally bring to mind the beautiful resort town of Virginia Beach, but the spirit of convicted witch, Grace Sherwood, might beg to differ. In 1706, in the Pungo area of Virginia Beach, Grace Sherwood is convicted and tried by water. Grace was a midwife and a healer, and was convicted of being a witch after a woman that she was tending to lost her baby. She was accused of using witchcraft to cause the miscarriage. Grace Sherwood is then dumped into the river with her thumbs tied to her big toes. If she floats, she's guilty and will be put back to death, and if she sinks, she's innocent and still dead. The sheriff then tied a 13-pound Bible around her neck. This caused her to sink, but she untied herself and returned to the surface, convincing many spectators that she was in fact a witch. As Sherwood was pulled out of the water, a downpour reportedly started, drenching the onlookers. She was jailed pending further proceedings. The home in which she was imprisoned dates back to 1642 and was named the Ferry Plantation House because the founder started a ferry service from it. It was later turned into a courthouse and was the site of the actual witch trial itself. Grace was imprisoned there for so long that her soul is bound to this location. Today it's said that her face can still be seen in the windows of the abandoned house. The Ghost of Sarah Henry. Patrick Henry, most well known as an American patriot and deliverer of the famous "Give me liberty or give me death" speech, lived at Scotchtown from 1771 to 1778 with his wife Sarah and their 6 children. Sarah, Henry's childhood sweetheart, began to show signs of mental illness after the birth of their 6th child. At the time, mental illness was associated with evil spirits and demons and often kept secret. The only mental hospital was in Williamsburg, and given the barbaric treatment of mental patients at the time, Henry kept his beloved wife at home. However, in the final 2 years of her life, she became violent and was forced to confine her to the home's basement, often in a colonial version of today's straitjacket. Word spread, and soon servants and visitors avoided the house. After her death in 1775, Sarah was buried in an unmarked grave, and soon the family left Scotchtown. Since that time, a woman in a long white gown is said to appear to visitors, both inside and outside of the house. Countless stories of candle lights in the windows, items being moved, opening and closing doors, and even a woman screaming have been reported over the years. One report claims that paint used on Sarah's basement room will not stay, despite repeated efforts. It seems that Sarah was not ready to leave her home, even though her family did. Lady in the Mirror. Ingle's Castle was built in 1892 by the great-grandson of Mary Draper Ingalls, a local legend in her own right. The story goes that a Shawnee tribe captured Mary and her 2 young sons in 1755 during the raid of Draper's Meadow. Later the same year, she and another woman escaped before walking nearly 600 miles home. It was built by William Captain Billy Ingalls for his wife Minnie, but burned down the day before they were scheduled to move in. Captain Billy rebuilt the castle within a year, exactly the way that it had been. Rumored has it, a woman, known as Lady in the Mirror, haunts the castle. Anne McClanahan Bass, a frequent houseguest of the Ingalls family, was standing in front of a mirror when lightning struck nearby. Her image seared into the mirror and can still be seen today. Some say that the lightning activated the silver nitrate in the mirror, a material used for photography at the time. But the spirit of Aunt Nanny, as Bass was known, is still said to be felt in the castle's interior. Lover's Leap. Lover's Leap is one of several spectacular views along your journey through Patrick County in Virginia. In the 1600s, the Indians inhabited the Blue Ridge Mountains. White settlers started arriving and began clearing land to farm. Conflict arose between the Indians and the settlers. Legend has it that the son of a settler saw the twinkle in the eyes of a chief's daughter, Morning Flower, and was immediately love-struck. The couple began to meet secretly, and their love continued to grow. The young man and the Indian maiden were threatened and shunned. With the beautiful rock and wildflowers behind them, they jumped, ensuring that they would be together forever. Some say if you go to Lover's Leap, you can still see the evidence of their love and hear them whisper in the cool evening breezes. The Pocahaunted Parkway. Just last year, stories of 3 Indian ghosts haunting the Pocahaunted Parkway were all the rage. The sighting started when the Pocahaunted Parkway opened, linking Chesterfield to eastern Henrico. In early August 2002, a trucker reported to a toll booth attendant that he saw 3 Indians in the middle of the road, each of them holding lighted torches. At first, he thought they were all real and that the Indians were protesting the new parkway, which allegedly cuts through the ancient Indian territory. Dozens more called in to report these sightings. Reports of the Indian ghost sightings in the Richmond Times-Dispatch paper further amplified the story, and young Richmonders started partying around the Mill Road overpass, trying to catch a glimpse of the tribal spirits. Even police officers reported hearing chants and eerie cries late at night. A spokesperson for the state police accompanied a Time-Dispatch reporter to the Pocahaunted Parkway between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. one night. Although she never saw anything herself, she admits, "I heard some strange noises. They were a combination of dog wailing, howling, and what sounds like human yelps. We heard it 3 times, and we recorded them. They sound even spookier on tape. They make all the hair on the back of your neck stand up." Rumor also had it that VDOT, Virginia's highway system, has videotape proofs of the hauntings. VDOT had a tape of an Indian on a horse walking through the toll plaza. We were supposed to get a copy, but we were told first that they gave the tape to another investigator. Then they told the reporter that they misplaced the tape. Now they won't let anyone see it. As far as videotape footage, it is true that VDOT has the area around the tollway videotaped for security. But as far as catching the ghost on tape, nobody knows what happened to the tapes, or if they even existed in the first place. The Bunnyman. The Bunnyman is Virginia's most popular urban legend. The legend has been circulated for years in different forms. One version in 1904 states that an asylum prison in Clifton was shut down by successful petition. During the transfer of inmates to the new facility, one of the 15 transports crashed. Most, including the driver, were killed, but 10 escaped. A search party found all of them but one. During this time, locals allegedly began to find hundreds of cleanly skinned, half-eaten carcasses of rabbits hanging from the trees in the surrounding areas. Another search of the area was ordered, and the police located the remains of Marcus Walster, left in a similar fashion to the rabbit carcasses hanging in a nearby tree or under a bridge overpass. The overpass is known as Bunnyman's Bridge. Officials named the last missing inmate, Douglas J. Grifton, as their suspect and calls him the Bunnyman. In this version, officials finally managed to locate Grifton, but during their attempt to apprehend him, he nearly escapes before being hit by an oncoming train, where the original transport crashed. They say after the train passed, the police heard laughter coming from the site. It is eventually revealed that Grifton was institutionalized for killing his family and children on Easter Sunday. For years after the Bunnyman's death, and the time approaching Halloween, carcasses are said to be found hanging from the overpass and surrounding areas. A figure can be seen by people who are making their way through the one-lane bridge tunnel. A Fairfax County public historian extensively researched the Bunnyman legend. He has located 2 incidents of a man in a rabbit costume threatening people with an axe. While there's no evidence of the Bunnyman's bridge still stands today. Legend has it that if you go to the bridge on Halloween, you just might encounter the Bunnyman. We're now over 40 subscribers in just 1 week. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Let me know if you know of any other ghost stories in other states so I can continue this series. I hope to do all 50 states. And always be cautious of the dangers of life, or else you might be dead by midnight.